calling all members of the in crowd. If you want to get in on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoutePodcast, or drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ. You can find us on Facebook, The Fade Route with DNZ. We're on Spreaker. We're on YouTube, The Fade Route with DNZ. Catch our videos. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and spread the word. Order up! We continue our division by division Major League Baseball breakdown ahead of opening day stateside as we order up.
Order up, order up.
This week we are going to order up the National League Central from 5 to 1. Who you got, D?
All right, we're starting with the National League. All right.
Yes, sir.
At number 5, I'm starting with Pittsburgh. They seem to be in a slow rebuild, Z. Very slow. They haven't won 80 games since 2018. I think Brian Hayes is their main guy, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with them at 5. At number 4, I'm going with Milwaukee. You know, they're kind of doing this whole waving the white flag thing before the season even starts. They did that when they traded away Corbin Burns. Brandon Woodruff is out for the whole year. Christian Yelich is garbage. So, yeah, I got them at 4. Number 3 might surprise you. I'm actually going with the St. Louis Cardinals. I just don't think it's going to work this year. They just look like dog shit in the spring training. Goldsmith and Arenado not having a great spring. Sonny Gray is at the top of the rotation, and he's already hurt. I think they're going to be in sell mode come the trade deadline. Number 2, I got Cincy. I know it sounds kind of weird, but they're young. I think if they can keep it together for more games this season, they could finish 2. I hope Ellie De La Cruz kind of matures a little bit and gets his slashes a little better. He was slashing 238 at the end of the season, striking out a lot. They can get it, and they don't have much pitching, but I don't know. I just think they're going to find ways to win games. And number 1, I got the Cubs. Cody Bellinger's is back. I expect the Cubs to build on what happened at the end of last season. And when you including Cody Bellinger and Ian Happ, Chicago now has 6 people that could potentially bat over 700 OPS. So yeah, I think they're going to be all right.
All good choices. I mean, you can't really say that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to win the division, right? You can't really say that. No, absolutely. I think there's some metaphysical certitudes in life that the Colorado Rockies are going to be last in the National League West, and that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to be in last place in the National League Central. Now, they have some players. They have some guys in their pipeline, but you're not playing for this season. You're playing for down the road. You're not playing for now. Now, maybe, just maybe, Paul Skeens becomes the guy, right? Guy throws 103 miles an hour. He apparently is a stud. He's apparently a stud. But it's not enough. You need more. Get Brian Hayes, you're absolutely right. He's the anchor. But you need more. You don't have enough. You have David Bednar. How long before he gets traded? He was rumored to be traded to the Yankees last year. You got Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman's there. That's all you need to know. The geriatric fondler. That is Aroldis Chapman. Did you see that Instagram story? My goodness. Oh my God. The things that
dear Lord.
Exactly. You have Marco Gonzalez. He's probably going to get moved at some point. They acquire guys. They acquire pitching in particular just to trade them. You're looking at Mitch Keller, Martin Perez. You have some guys, right? You have Henry Davis on this team. They brought in Yasmani Grandal, your boy. But not enough. Not nearly enough. Number 4. I don't like the Cardinals, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't like the Cardinals. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't like it. You know, you brought in Lance Lynn. He's a professional beating taker. Like, that's what Lance Lynn does.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
He takes beatings. Like, that's what he does. Kyle Gibson. Sonny Gray. He's already hurt. And even so, like, I've seen enough of Sonny Gray to know that I'm not impressed by Sonny Gray. Now, it's the offense too. It's not just the pitching. What do you have outside of Goldschmidt and Arenado, right? You traded O'Neill. Edman, he's on the IL. What's he going to be when he comes back? You're hanging your hat on Brandon Crawford this year. You know, you're going to have Lars Nootbaar, Dylan Carlson. You brought back Matt Carpenter. Yeah. I don't like it. So, they got to do better. They need more. Now, number 3, I like the Brewers a little bit better because I like the prospects they got back for Corbin Burns in the trade. I think DL Hall is going to do a good job for them. I think that, you know, Trevor McGill is a good pitcher. You have, you know, Freddie Peralta still there. You still have, you know, Devin Williams at the back end of that bullpen. Like, you got some pieces there. Now, offensively, like, what's William Contreras going to be? You brought in the immortal Gary Sanchez. Is Gary Sanchez going to make this roster? Is he going to be, you know, maybe he's your everyday DH? That'll help with curveball. Try to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball. But Rhys Hoskins is there. You got some power. You got some pop. And they got him relatively cheap, right? He's on a make good coming back from injury. If Willy Adames can keep playing on the same trajectory that he's on, if you get Bryce Terang, if he can be the goods, you know, Monasterio, he showed some flashes. That prospect, Jackson Curio, they just locked him up Jonathan Singleton style. So there's plenty of upside there. And that upside, inspires a little bit more hope than St. Louis does. Number 2, I'm with you. Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds are trending upward. They're not there yet, but they will be better. They absolutely will be better. It's kind of hard not to be. Like, a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more formidable of a lineup. You're hoping that a guy like Frankie Montas will come along and he will kind of resurrect his career. You have, you know, Nick Martinez. You have Alexis Diaz at the back end of the bullpen. Like, you have some solid arms. You got rid of Joey Votto, which is surprising. You know, but he's 40 years old. What are you going to do? And then you're really banking on this youth movement, right? You have Encarnacion Strand, Ellie De La Cruz, McLean, Steer, all of these guys that produced last year. There were rumors you were going to get rid of Jonathan India. Jonathan India is probably going to crack the opening day roster. I like this team. They're young, they're good. They're young and they're good. If they can get any pitching, I think they're going to be even better than we think. And then, number 1, you can't argue with it. Your Chicago Cubs. My Chicago Cubs. Everybody's Chicago Cubs. Bringing Bellinger back was a good idea. Let's see if he can live up to it. You still have Suzuki. You still have, you know, Horner. You still have Christopher Morel, Dansby Swanson, Patrick Wisdom. You still have Ian Happ, like you mentioned. You got players. And in the rotation, you know, Hendricks is still there. You brought in Imanaga from Japan. They're going to be players. They're definitely going to be in the mix. Now, do they have enough pitching down the road to get them to the next level? Or are they just going to be the best team in a bad division? Time will tell. I think that they'll be able to get at least one more pitcher. Who knows? Maybe a certain free agent lefty. Maybe. Possibly. But you gotta like what the Cubs have done. They're taking it seriously. They understand that this is their shot, and they're making the most of it. Expect the Cubs to do big things this season. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.